If you're interested in how to play Shaco support, then this guide I have can help you. Hi, I'm Yuji, and in this video I will show you what Shaco excels at and what Shaco doesn't, what ability order I like to use, as well as items that are absolutely broken on AP Shaco as of today's patch. Before we get started, I would like to thank everyone for the support that my first video has gotten, but I'm afraid that video is a bit old and some things in that video are outdated. While some or most parts remain the same for a higher elo Shaco support, there are some quality of life changes in regards to runes and items that are different from the other video I posted several months ago. In this video, I will go over what runes to take, what items are crucial, and I will go over how Shaco support likes to play in order to win games. Let's take a moment to cover my preferred rune choices. Deathfire Touch with Mana Flow Bend, Transcendence, Gathering Storm with Triumph, Coup de Grace, and Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Health Scaling. Why do I take these? Deathfire Touch has been such a nice quality of life buff for AP Shaco, as this rune increases the amount of damage you will be doing with your abilities for free. Taking Gathering Storm as opposed to Scorch is personal, but I like the damage boost I get for free. Again, we're looking for free buffs with these runes. As time goes on, I can know that at 20 minutes I will get a free 8 ability power, and at 20 minutes it turns into 16. Scorch does not scale like this, however, so be wary of falling off without the additional AP of Gathering Storm, especially when your opponent has a ton of healing. It would be better to scale for later in most cases. I did kinda gloss over Transcendence, but we'll get into that right now, which gives nothing. Transcendence will give you nothing until level 5. The payoff is that you will gain 5 ability haste at level 5, 5 ability haste at level 8, and at level 11 you will also get the passive, and that passive gives you 20% ability haste cooldown refund on champion takedown, which is huge for Shaco support, especially when you desperately need your Q back up, or if you'd like to clean up a little bit more with an additional Shiv. These are just some of the things that are available for when you have the right game knowledge, as well as the right setup ahead of time to use this. This combined with Coup de Grace and Triumph makes your reset potential very high. And it should teach you that Shaco support sometimes wants to roll around in the pig pen for a little bit. This is of course given that you have some other things set into motion, as I stated earlier, like cooldowns accounted for, and having an exit strategy in case things turn cattywampus. You obviously want a way out. I'm not going to go into detail about why I have these other 3 parts: the ability haste, the adaptive force, or the health scaling. The health scaling is kind of important though. I like the fact that runes can give me an additional 10 HP per level up for free, and having a CDR and 9 AP is just very nice for starting out the laning phase. Even if AP Shaco will start with AD, no matter what runes you take, it will still help immensely before you can achieve your first AP item. Normally that might be your second back, and I'll go into that here in this next section where we talk about the laning phase. At the start of laning phase, it is extraordinarily common for bot laners to ward the center brush as soon as humanly possible. As Shaco support, I take Scanner first, and I will place my box in this center brush. Depending on who the enemy jungler is or who the enemy support is, I will sometimes path to the enemy tri-bush and scan my way into their jungle just to get some vision, and maybe even mess with their jungler a little bit. Sometimes this cheese works, and I can put the jungler a little bit behind. Maybe I'll use my ignite, as a level 1 invade. Just, because I won't be using it for the next couple of minutes anyway, chances are. And as a Shaco support, your best bet is to probably give a little bit of experience to your ADC, just so they can get level 2 before the enemy bot laners do. Having that box in the center tri-bush helps out a lot, just so they can have some presence and understand that you might be around there, but in reality you're doing a lot of other things. You're a couple of steps ahead in reality, if you're doing this correctly, that is. Obviously, if they're pressuring your ADC, you probably won't want to go fuck around in the enemy's jungle. But play as as you see fit. But this is just an idea of what you could do. So my goal for laning phase as Shaco support is to get my money up, and keep the enemy money down. And this is pretty easy if you can just understand that you can put boxes down a little sparingly before your first back, because you're not gonna have all that kind of mana, and they're not gonna, your boxes aren't gonna last very long. They're not gonna last longer than 40 seconds. So maybe we can keep them a little bit more reserved. We can have Heimerdinger turrets even. You can have them like in a straight line, so that way your ADC just has to walk backwards. Oftentimes my first back, I'm looking for a Sapphire Crystal first back. I'm wanting Malignance. So my first back, I'm looking at Sapphire Crystal. I'm looking at boots. Sometimes I might look for the 700. If I have 700 gold, and I think it might be beneficial as opposed to boots and Sapphire Crystal. Boots and Sapphire Crystal is 600. I can go Sapphire Crystal and an Amp Tome, but then I'm kind of slow, and then I really have to focus on where I'm putting my boxes, as opposed to using that slight AD in the beginning to maybe even gank mid. A well-timed roam after first back with boots and Sapphire Crystal, I can easily go over to mid lane and get them a little bit more fed. And then even after that one gank, I can go back and get my Amp Tome, and then I'm back on track. We're back at AP, baby. We're no longer AD rolling around. But this is just an idea. I'm only throwing out ideas. If things go well and I have gotten enough money for my lost chapter, I will go for my lost chapter immediately. Lost chapter first item. I'll skip boots if I have 1300 gold on my first or second back. I'll skip it. I'll skip the boots. I'll do it. Anything for that lost chapter, because then I can stay in lane forever. I can place boxes forever. I'll sit there forever. It's fine. I'll be a broke girl with no boots, and it's fine. Where was I? Let's be real, your top laner will probably want you to leave their lane alone in most cases, so my mid lane is my favorite option to gank. Sometimes there's sometimes where I'll look at top lane, but majority of times they don't want anyone up there. They don't want you up there. They don't even want their laner up. They don't want anyone up there. They just want to play alone. They don't want you up there. Your mid laner's free though. Your mid laner's, your mid laner knows everyone's coming over. They understand. So do what you will, but understand that your top laner would probably not like you up there. They might. I mute everyone's ping when I start the game, but that's just me. Anyway, let's talk about items in this next section. So in this final section, we will talk about items. We had glossed over Malignant Rush, but that is obviously something that I've been doing since my last video. So let's talk about what has changed. We are looking at a Malignance into Imperial Mandate. For those who don't know, Imperial Mandate changed in a way that makes the cooldown of abilities that immobilize champions will gain exclusive ability haste. So what this means for Shaco boxes and Shaco R is that you will gain a 15% cooldown on your ultimate and on your boxes. On top of this, anytime that you immobilize an enemy champion, which I will say is very, very often, you will imbue that enemy with 6% vulnerability. Now, this is different than what Malignance and Bloodletter's Curse does, and I think that's important because the whole purpose of building Malignance into Bloodletter's Curse in my last video was that you're shredding away any and all magic resist from them. You take that away. You take away their one shield, and you're burning them to death. With Deathfire's Touch, with the Malignance Burn, with taking away half of their magic resist after one box, after one ult explosion. So this on top of making them 6% vulnerable to your team makes this so broken. I had at one point the cooldown for my ultimate with Malignance, with Imperial Mandate, with Bloodletter's Curse. We're about, I think my ultimate was at full, it might have been at second or full level, but it was at 33% 33 second cooldown. So my ultimate was up every 15 seconds after my clone expired, which was really broken. I had boxes up maybe 7 or 8 at a time. I was able to get 7 or 8 boxes up at a time because the cooldown was so low, and there is no, in normal League of Legends, Summoner's Rift and Ranked, there is no cooldown on your boxes. There is none. So you are able to just place up to as many as they will last. So, you know, in a game where I have Gathering Storm and it's last 40 minutes, and, you know, I can easily set up 7 boxes, and that makes it very, very difficult for an enemy to dive your backline, to properly engage, and it also gives your team some control over an area, you know, even if you're a little bit behind. Rengar doesn't want to get, you know, taunted and stunned for, you know, 2.5 seconds. Katarinas don't want to get taunted and stunned for 2.5 seconds. And then, you know, you bait them with your R, and then you have 3 of them now taunted and stunned for 3 seconds. So I understand why Shaco's banned so often, but let's quickly recap. While laning, aim for Sapphire Crystal plus boots if you're a broke girl. But if you have the money, you are aiming for Lost Chapter. Use your home guard to gank mid or bot if you see potential to earn money from assists or kills. Probably not top, honestly. Build Malignance into Imperial Mandate into Bloodletter's Curse. This is basically the same path as my previous video. We just added Imperial Mandate as a second item. Second item. Key item. Second item. Oblivion Orb is usually something that I'll get if they have healing. And this is... I'll normally build this right after Malignance if I need it. If you desperately need Oblivion Orb. But let's talk about if they have no healing. What do you build as a 4th item? You have the Malignance, you have the Imperial Mandate, you have the Bloodletter's Curse. You would love to have Rylai's next. You want Rylai's because what's worse than being feared and stunned and broken? It's being slowed. Being slowed is ass. We don't like being slowed. But we love slowing them. We love that. It's so OP. normally this will, along with your Sork boots, this will oftentimes make your build pretty complete. You're obviously gonna go for the purple damage support upgrade. I forget what that thing is called. Yeah, that sounds that sounds promising from a high elo Shaco guide, right? I don't know what it's called. The damaged purple one. Listen, I'm just a girl who plays AP Shaco at a high elo. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I appreciate everyone who watched and supported the previous video. Sadly, it is outdated, and I need to update it. Finally found some time to do it. I'm gonna try and stream more. I'm also in the process of making some indie games, so we can look for that later down the line, here in like October, probably. We'll see. Anyway, bye bye.